Hey everybody, my name is James, and this is a closeout video for 3 proposals from Gimbal Labs in the Fund 6 Developer Ecosystem Challenge. The names of our 3 proposals: Gimbal, turning devs into blockchain devs; our Plutus PBL, which means Project-Based Learning program; and building network capacity. All 3 of these proposals were designed to deliver on similar goals. It's just that we learned from Funds 4 and Fund 5 that we were more likely to get funded if we broke our project down into parts. So that's what we did here. But I'd like to report on all of this for you right now because we really saw this as comprehensive work. Our key achievements were to really build a culture of collaboration and engagement, just like the KPIs for that challenge stated. We are always seeking to plant seeds and grow network capacity. And we often do this at the expense of capturing value. Our goal is to help people learn and then to take what they've learned to do what they will with that, because we believe that this is really going to build a thriving ecosystem of Cardano developers. So how were these funds used? We were able to fund 8 developers with a total of a little over $20,000 worth of ADA each for 4 months of committing to learning the Plutus development stack and shared development work. And as you can see, 8 times $20,000 is even more than we received in Fund 6. So where did we come up with the extra funds? Well, a quick word on Fund 2. Just in case you're wondering, we did not receive 265,000 ADA in Fund 2 as it says on IdeaScale, but you can check this transaction and you can see that we received 94,517 ADA at a conversion rate of 30 US cents per ADA for a total of $28,355, which is what we asked for in Fund 2. Now, soon after this, right, in the early half of 2021, the value of ADA in relation to the US dollar increased significantly, and this allowed us to take on other development tasks that were not part of our original scope. So it was a true blessing to be able to move through some other tasks that we had on our roadmap. And one of them was to build out this PBL system. So by the time late summer came around, we were able to have this extra funding to launch the PPBL program and then to continue to grow it with Fund 6. These early funds were really important because we knew that we had to get a group of dedicated devs together to launch phase 1 of our work. We wanted to explore, how do you learn Plutus together in a full stack environment in a way that's going to help as many people as possible learn how to use these tools. So we're not just writing Plutus code, we're also trying to write it in a way that is semantically understandable. You might have heard that Haskell is hard to learn. One of the reasons for this is that it's a highly expressive language where you can say a lot with just a very brief amount of code. But sometimes when you emphasize that expressiveness and that brevity, it can be hard to learn. So some of the code we write is less succinct on purpose because that helps more devs start to see what the different parts of Plutus can do. And then later, we can look together at how to say these things in a briefer way. Building upon the work that we did in September through January, we moved to phase 2 of rolling out Plutus project-based learning. And we piloted a course, which I'll show you in just a minute. And phase 3 is starting now. Here in May 2022, we're moving from a time-bound course into more modular, self-paced, and self-differentiating, which means that different learners can take different pathways through the content. So a couple of demos. First of all, at gimballabs.com, here's an example of what we did in September 2021. You can see at gimballabs.com/pbl/Plutus. There's several videos. There's Matthias and Eli and Sam and Ganesh. This is our first cohort of Plutus PBL learners. You can see the tasks we assigned to ourselves and the different results of this work. So there's a whole bunch of different repos linked here that you can go to explore. You could take a look at some of the more recent public repos here on GitLab. This is gitlab.com/gimbalabs/ppbl course 01. There's a Plutus repo, a front-end repo, and some work we've been doing on general escrow contracts, which provide learners a really nice entry point. And then finally, here's the draft of our Canvas course. This is the student view. And we piloted this, like I said, starting, I guess it was February by the time we actually went live. So from February to April, spanning 10 weeks, this was the sequence of projects we worked through. And each of these projects had a series of steps with video content, links to GitLab resources, and discussion boards so people could learn together. We also, as you know, at least twice a week, we were running live coding sessions, and that has continued up until now. In fact, we'll often run more than 2 per week. We're doing this informally because we really have cultivated this community of learners. What's come out of this work? Besides building our capacity at Gimbal Labs, the founders of Locks Inc. were original participants in PPBL. One of the founders of Martify, which you might have heard of and has also contributed to the JPEG Store project in building one of the most successful NFT marketplaces on Cardano. Some of the code that is used on JPEG Store originated in our Plutus PBL program. Rarity and the Gods of Block NFT series are projects of Sam's. So as you can see, this is just a short list of the projects we know about. But our code is open and we've helped out a lot of other people come and go. And that's really what we value more than anything is putting out resources that other folks can use. So what have we learned and what challenges have we faced? Well, one of the key things we've learned is that it's really effective, at least for us, to not only think about writing Plutus code in a Haskell environment, but also to think about how that code hooks up to the front end. Each step of the way, we've been asking ourselves, what can we build right now? And the reason we're doing this is because the better we can understand what's possible today, the better we can appreciate what some of the pain points are right now. And we've been having this experience over and over again of, for example, seeing an improvement to Cardano CLI and saying, wow, gosh, I know exactly how much time that saves me, right? When you think about the protocol upgrades that are coming in January and beyond, some of the new functionality that's coming soon, we know the better that we can build now and see limitations firsthand, the more excited and ready we're going to be to take on new tools as they come online. We also know that the more we build, the more valuable it is to have communities of action. We've talked a lot about this word developer or development. And yes, of course that word means people who write software code, but it's not limited to that. What we're trying to do is bring other folks into our PPBL lectures, and there's a lot of folks in the Gimbal Labs community who will stop by when we're doing live coding, not because they want to go all the way towards being a full-time Plutus dev, but because they want to level up their ability to talk about what Plutus can do. So by working, we call it working with the garage door open, this gives people a chance to learn as much as they can for whatever their purpose is. And not only to be a software developer, but to be a community developer, to develop solutions from the legal or compliance side and beyond. And all of this, we believe at the end of the day, if we learn by doing, if we learn through projects, we're going to have a really nice depth of understanding spread out over as many people as possible. And this goes hand in hand with what we recognized. As soon as you start to build, a lot of people will find out and want some kind of dev shop solution. So a lot of people who reach out to me are asking if Gimbal Labs can build this or that. And But we don't want to stop there, right? Everybody has ideas for what can be built. What we need is more capacity in building these things. And so we really want to help everybody who comes our way think about what role they can play in building out decentralized systems. We want to help communities engage with each other in ways that can help them level up. We did one project where we built an NFT marketplace for one NFT community. We built something that worked, but was incomplete because when we got to the part where we wanted to hand off the project to that team, we recognized they didn't have the capacity to take it on. And so this is a much more interesting challenge to us. It's not just about building a one-off project, but it's really about equipping people to help these projects become sustainable. And that's a challenge that we're going to be focused on, I expect, for years to come, right? We all have work to do together in learning how to build these communities. Finally, it's really hard to measure an increase in development capacity. I know this as a teacher, right? We don't often see the results of our efforts, maybe ever. And so we're going to see that here too. There's people learning and the wider world might not have any exposure to what they're heads down focused on doing. And so we want to practice measuring this. We want to get better at saying, hey, here's a record of what you did and what you learned. We could call it a credential, couldn't we? That helps people send a better signal about what they're doing and maybe give all of us a better way of seeing how the development capacity of our network is growing. We're going to continue to think about this problem. And if you find this to be a compelling one, we invite you to join us. So what's next? We're going to keep building out our project-based learning resources, and we're not limiting it to Plutus. We've already done some pilot work on a tokenomics PBL as well. And then fill in the blank. What do you want people to learn about? We'd like to take what we've learned from Plutus PBL and apply it to your PBL. So join us in the Gimbal Labs Discord if you want to join in that work. I hope this video wasn't too long, but I was trying to do a 3-in-1. I really appreciate you watching this. I look forward to hearing your questions. Thanks and take care.